Do you struggle to fall asleep quickly and you are jealous that everyone else around you is able to fall asleep in minutes? I have been there too, and believe it or not, you have this ability too. And that's what I want to help you with in this video. The reason you haven't been able to fall asleep faster with everything that you have tried is because you aren't going after the root cause. And we're going to talk about that in this video. Now, before I get into my 3 tips for you, it's important that you understand why it is taking you so long to fall asleep when you have chronic insomnia. Because once you understand this, you'll understand the direction that you need to take and what you need to do to fall asleep faster and to get more sleep. So let's get into it. When you have insomnia, the reason it takes so long to fall asleep, stay asleep, and get more sleep is because of hyperarousal. Now, hyperarousal is from things such as fear, excitement, frustration, stress, bewilderment, puzzlement, and all sorts of emotions. Anything that causes that heightened state of alertness. Plus, the fear of being awake and trying to escape it is sending signals to your brain that there is danger. All your brain knows is that you're fearing something and trying to escape it. And it is meant to keep you awake so that you can react to any threats and danger that are out there. Your brain is doing what it's supposed to do, which is supposed to keep you in a lighter sleep and less sleep and awake more often so that you can react to that danger. When we have insomnia, it comes from that fear of being awake and the frustration of nothing working. If instead you were at peace with being awake and stop chasing sleep, you would start to sleep well again. But I know that isn't possible to just shift your mindset to being okay with being awake, and it's not easy. So let's get into my 3 tips that help transform my sleep so that you can use them for your sleep as well. Let's start off with a silly analogy. These are pretend characters. I want you to imagine that there's a girl named Sarah, and there is a boy named Max. And Max really likes Sarah. Max wants to be her boyfriend, and he's actually kind of desperate to be so. So Max starts texting her all the time. He's showing up at her door, and he's asking her to be his girlfriend, or him to be her boyfriend, however you want to say it. And he's pushy, and he's desperate, and they've never even gone on a date. Do you really think that Sarah is going to go out on a date with Max? Probably not. And if it's in real life, I'd probably be getting a restraining order. I would feel a little in danger. I don't know about you, but this is just an analogy. I want you to think of sleep in the same exact way. If sleep was someone that you wanted to date, how would you approach him? You probably wouldn't be approaching sleep with desperation. If you didn't get to see sleep every day, you're okay, you're fine. You know you will get sleep again soon. You know that chasing sleep and desperation will only chase sleep away, thinking of sleep as someone you want to date. So you are patient, you take your time, and you allow sleep to come when sleep is ready for more. I know this can feel like you're giving up, but I promise you that you aren't. Chasing sleep only leads to less sleep, so it's not worth it. Which is my first tip, to stop chasing sleep and treat sleep like someone that you want to date. This is what's going to lead to more sleep with time. By the way, if you don't want to miss more videos on how to overcome insomnia, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, because if you follow my videos, you will overcome insomnia. Now, let's get back to the video. If we keep using the same analogy of Max and Sarah, I want you to think about Max having Sarah on his mind 24/7 because of his desperation. He is constantly thinking about her, obsessing over her, researching on the internet how he can get more time with Sarah, or sleep. Well, we're on Sarah right now. More time with sleep. He stops going out with friends and enjoying life because all he can think about is how to get more Sarah in his life. How do you think that's going to affect his life, his mental health, his mindset, and his chances of getting more Sarah in his life? It's going to have a negative impact in all areas of his life. And this goes the same for sleep. If your mind is only thinking about, how am I going to get more sleep? What happens if I don't sleep tonight? Why aren't you sleeping? Is this going to last forever? And avoiding all things in your life because you aren't getting enough sleep. And avoiding all things in your life that you enjoy because you aren't getting enough sleep. Then you are going to increase that fear, frustration, and hyperarousal that is keeping you awake at night. It'll keep sleep away. Now, this is a natural reaction that we all have when we have chronic insomnia. It's your brain trying to keep you safe. So what do? We take our mind off of sleep. I like to get people in my program to do a sleep detox, where you stop researching sleep, you take your mind off of sleep. Anytime you're focused on sleep, you bring yourself back into the moment. And again, as you keep thinking back to sleep, you acknowledge that your brain is just trying to keep you safe, and then you bring yourself back into the moment. And that is my tip number 2, to take your mind off of sleep, bring yourself back in the moment, because the more attention you put on sleep, the less sleep that you're going to get. By the way, if you want more support with this and want access to my free classes, my worksheets, my meditations, my coaching calls, and all of that, join my free community. The link is in the description box below. Now, let's get back to Max and Sarah. We might as well continue to use this analogy for the entire video. I didn't plan to, but why not? Have you ever heard of mindfulness or practicing being in the moment? I know I already brought it up earlier in the video, but let's talk about this some more. If you are worrying about something, fearing something, or thinking about the past, then you are not in this present moment. Because what you're fearing about or worrying about is not actually happening right this moment. All you have control over is what is happening right now in front of you. Do you think Max was practicing being in the moment? Nope, because he was stressed. He was frustrated because he couldn't figure out how to win Sarah over. He was scared that he was never going to be able to win Sarah over because nothing was working. If he instead focused on what was happening in the moment, like maybe his dog, a sibling, a friend, he would be more at peace and he would feel better mentally and physically. If we applied this to sleep, if we practiced being more in the moment, we would be more at peace. We wouldn't be so frustrated. Our hyperarousal levels would come down and our brain would start to realize that we are safe. That is what's going to lead to more sleep with time. So how do we practice mindfulness? Well, there are a few ways or few things that you could try. Like catching yourself worrying about sleep or fearing being awake at night, and then bringing yourself back into the moment. Ask yourself, what do I have control over in this moment? As you're worrying about these things, start to think about that. What do you have control over? Well, you could find something that you enjoy, take your mind off of sleep, do a hobby, or whatever else that you enjoy doing. There is nothing that you can do in this moment to control or make sleep happen. Sleep is a passive process, and it's not broken. It's the hyperarousal that is keeping you awake. The more you try to control sleep, the less sleep that you're going to get, because trying to control sleep creates more hyperarousal and frustration and fear. So what's the point? You could also start practicing meditation. Meditation helps us learn how to be more in the moment. For example, if you are just doing a meditation where you're focusing on your breath, where you're just closing your eyes and you're focusing on your breathing. Every time you start to think a thought, anything else, it's okay. You gently bring yourself back to your breath. You're breathing, focusing on your breathing, and then you start thinking about something, and then you bring yourself back to your breath. That is the practice of mindfulness. You could also read a book like The Power of Now. That book was a game changer for me when I didn't even know what mindfulness was. That's how long ago I read it. And because I didn't really understand mindfulness, it was big to me. So if you are a beginner in this area and practicing mindfulness, that could be a great one for you too. And that is my third tip, to practice mindfulness during the entire day. You can do it during the day. You can do it at night when you are wide awake and you can't sleep and you're fearing being awake all night and you're frustrated. You can practice mindfulness. Focus on your breath, bringing your thoughts back to what you can control in the moment. You can focus on your senses. If you're worrying and you're fearing something, use your senses for things around you. What can you smell? What do things feel like when you touch them? What sounds do you hear? All those different types of little practices help you learn to come back into the moment, which can lower your hyperarousal levels dramatically. Now, if you want to take all these steps one step further, then watch this video that's popping up on the screen, because this is my video about the number one lesson that you need to overcome insomnia. If I only had one thing to teach you, then it would be this. So go click it now, go watch it. And thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.